Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kerbal Space Program. You are with the Bearded One, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, it's 2023. Why in the world are we looking at a Kerbal Space Program 1 welcome screen or start screen? And it is because, just like you, I was very excited about KSP 2 coming out. It's been a while since I've played KSP of any sort. I did purchase KSP 2, got in, found that I was one little out of my element, a little out of practice, but also the bugs were really turning me off. I was trying to go through the tutorials, some of the tutorials I couldn't get through. So not to be deterred, I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to the tried and true KSP, remind myself the basics. And when I got back, I saw that, well, I was pleasantly surprised that the actual original KSP has revamped a lot of the tutorials since I've looked at them, and took this opportunity to get back into the YouTube game. Thought there may be other people that were wanting to get this experience, maybe be reminded of the basics. So I figured I would just start at ground zero, work my way up, and go through these tutorials and share that with a broader audience. It helps me by actually making me go through them a little bit more diligently than I would otherwise, and gives me something to do. So thank you for joining me in that. Let's get started. Going down to training. And I mean, I'm going to do the first two in this first video because the first one is just the interface and the construction experience. The second one's just getting the flight off the ground. So we'll combine the two and get a little bit more involved as we go along. So let's get started. Basic construction with, let's see here, who are we talking to? Werner von Kerman. Oh, welcome to today's lecture on vessel construction. I'm Werner von Kerman. Whether you want to put a satellite into orbit, make a transcontinental flight, or step into the very surface of the Mun, you're going to need to build yourself a ship. It'd be pretty easy. It should be pretty easy, even if you're not a famous rocket scientist like myself. Oh my goodness. In this tutorial, I'll first show you around the Kerbal Space Center and take you to the vehicle assembly building where you'll learn how to construct a simple ship. We'll cover adding, removing parts, what those parts do, and how to change performance settings for the parts which have that option, and then how to control staging. At the end of this tutorial, you should have a craft fit for a quick hop from the launch pad. At each step, I will lock out the controls other than the ones that you'll need for that step and still manage, and if you still manage to mess up, which I'm probably going to do, it took me even some time to become skilled as I am now. You can press the back button, go back and fix things, and it'll light up unless you mess up. Well, that's a lot of reading. Let's go through it. Here right now at the Space Center, I'll give you a quick rundown. The KSC, for short, is the home of the pinnacle of Kerbal endeavor and achievements for the space exploration. Using these facilities, you can see here, you'll be able to manage your space program, create rockets, planes, track your Kerbal explorers as they roam the solar system, and find exciting new uses for the explosive substances, and in case of emergency, hire more Kerbals. To find out more about each facility, you can hover your mouse over them, or the facility's buttons as they show up when the cursor is outside the window. If you need to repair the structure, or you can do this by right-clicking them. Take some time, hover. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we have the administrative building, we have astronaut complex, we have the research development, we have the tracking station, the launch pad, mission control, the space plane hangar, and finally the vehicle assembly, which I'm thinking that's where we go. All right. Here we are. Very good. What do you see in the middle of the screen is the construction area. This is where the parts are placed. On the left side of the screen, I guess that's over here, is the parts toolbox. It'll show up all the parts you have available in each of the different categories once you pick them, that is. You want to craft the control. If you want your craft to be controllable, you will need a command module. Let's see. All right, so pods, command module. Looks like to go ahead and pick that command module. Here we go. Here's the command module. At least after at least one part is placed, you can look around. There we go. Right button looks around. Scroll wheel moves up and down, and shift scroll wheel moves in and out. Thank you very much. If you'd like your pod to be able to make more than just one flight, you'll have to return safely. We're going to go to the Utilities tab. Skipping over some reading now. Go ahead and select this page. So let's find the Utilities tab. Robotics, coupling, payload, Utilities at the bottom. I'm going to click on that parachute and place it on top as it says. And next. Some parts, like our parachute here, have configurable options. Let's right click on them. All right, right click on the parachute. And we have something pop up. We can see that attitude is 1,000 for now. Let's check, make sure the height of the chute is 1,000 meters. It appears to be 1,000 meters. But we want to move it so that the pressure is correct at 0.2. We're at 0.04. Let's move that to 0.2. There we go. You can hide these options for right click in the background. Let's do that. And there we go. And next. Next up, we're going to need something to make us go up. Click on the Engines tab. On the left, show the available engines. Go down to Engines. Oh, that's a big one. All right, there's the Thumper engine. We're going to pop that right down at the bottom. Grab one, connect it as we did. Go next. All right, now this was not my fault. Oops, I forgot that you're just starting out. You're not a famous rocket scientist. All right, you don't know that. Promise to teach you how to change. At least. All right, so we're going to move this back, throw it away. We're going to pick up this Thumper back here. Yep, here we go. Instead, let's add this solid motor for a better map to our ship size. So here's the Flea, the RT5 Flea, as he suggested. I'll throw it on the bottom. I'm going to connect it to the bottom of the pod, as we did so. Nice one. Now we've built the simplest survival craft. Need to explain one more thing. This is going to be the staging aspect of everything. That makes sense. What is shown as we activate the next stage of the engine, the parachute will be triggered. All right, so we're going to go through this staging area down in the bottom right-hand corner here. We're going to have to add a stage. And it's going to tell us probably to move. Yep, we're going to move the rocket to first. So rocket fires first. And then 0. Go ahead and just drag the engine from 0 to 1. Okay, messed me up there. Yep. 0 to 1. So this fires first. And then the parachute will fire. All right. And we can name this. It's not going to save it, but I might as well. Let's do Beard Alpha 1. And save. And then this says we're done. All right. So I'm guessing in the next training, we'll get to fly this thing. But yes, excellent work. This will get us flying around. All right. Okay, so now here we found... Well, it's not going to show me where the pods are, where the fuel is. Okay, this is all as I remembered. We're going to click gun and head out. Let's go back to training and let's do basic flight. Again, I think this is fairly basic, fairly straightforward on just how to get the thing off the ground. But let's take a look. They're so nice here. Welcome. Well, I do feel welcome. Thank you. Welcome to Kerbal Space Program. I'm going to read this correctly. Kerbal Space Center Launch Facility. I am Gene Kerman, and I will teach you the basics of piloting spacecraft. I trust that you've already checked the basic construction tutorial. Yes, we have. We just came from there. Thank you for asking. But if not, I recommend you going before we do this. I just said that we have. We're good. Today we're going to run through this important controls of our hopper that we made. I'm ready. Let's go to next. Flying a spacecraft is all about being in control. All right, that's good. I agree. Let's look at these controls. All right, so we have yaw, which is spinning, roll, which is rolling, pitch, which is bending up and down. All right, go to that. Thank you for the holiday snap. All right, we control this. I'm using a keyboard. If you have a joystick, you can do it. So yeah, WASD. We look down in the bottom left, we're seeing, all right, I'm hitting W and S, I'm hitting D and A, and I'm hitting E and Q for roll. That makes sense. All right. Throttle plus pitch, yaw and roll are the main controls we need to match successful crash-free flight. That's what we all want. He's not going to let us touch the throttle this time, which makes sense. It's a solid fuel rocket. You don't really have much throttle there. It's either on or off. But it's good to keep in mind that the stages are separated from the ship, and the ship will become lighter. So that's the idea of the limited amount of thickness. So the bigger, the heavier ship, the more throttle and more power we're going to need. More power. I like it. And flight, all the planning is put into staging sequence. We went into that earlier. Space goes between the different stages in our staging sequence. Get the lower left on which stage we're in. We're currently in stage 1. One more thing about staging. If your staging is causing strife, you can change your mind about something. You can edit the stage sequence on the fly. Ha ha, pun intended. No need to go back. All right, the nav ball here. It's how the ship is oriented. This is straight up and down. So all blue means we're looking down from the sky, and it's straight up. So we're pointed straight up. Ship's nose in relation to the horizon. So as this goes up, you'll see how the horizon will come across, and you'll see your relation to it. That makes sense. Let's have several icons that indicate things like the current velocity. Okay, there's our velocity. Our, but also we'll have to look more at these later. I'm sure we'll go over those. All right, we're currently caught dead center. This is vertical. All these atmospheres. The altimeter, this is up here. Good deal. Altimeter tells us how high we are off the ground. Vertical speed indicator. That's Sriracha. And it shows how quickly the altitude is changing. When launching, consider it best to keep this gauge pointed up. Straight up and down. That makes sense. The atmosphere gauge indicates how deep the ship is to the planet's atmosphere. Okay, so that's going to be like your pressure. So as we go through different missions, this is we're going to make sure that we reach the different phases or different stages of the atmosphere to accomplish certain mission types or to deploy certain things. That makes sense. All right. One last thing is the parachute. This is the thing that's always gotten me in trouble, is thinking that your parachute can just deploy whenever you do it. It can't. So these is something I'm pay attention to here so that I remember correctly. The stages stack. In the stages stack, you can see the indicator of your parachute. The color indicates when it is safe to stage the parachute. The foreground, the parachute, and the icon itself will change color depending on the parachute. Note, however, that by default, the parachute will not deploy when unsafe, even if you stage them. That's what's got me. The left 3 shows safety. Safe, risky, or unsafe to deploy, and the chute is when the chute is staged in white in the N3. The right 3 show the state after, so that makes sense. So it's actually staged, but if it's red, I've seen if it's red, it means it's shredded. Yep, there it is. Cut or shredded. Curves means deploy, and this means armed, like it's about to deploy. That makes sense. All right, remember those. Okay, enough talk. Unlike the flight controls, thank you very much. It's time. At any time, you can press escape to pause the game. And then end scenario. When I'm getting myself prepared and ready, hit space to launch. I think we're ready for that. Don't forget the hopper is only solid, so there's no throttle control. It's on or off. Make sure to fly in a nice high arc. Okay, let's try that. Here we go. Oh. That's a little touchy. Nice high arc. We're going. Trying to get it at 90. I don't have any fins or anything. There we go. Undo a little bit. This is where I wish I had kind of a joystick or something. I might have to pick up a joystick to get a little more smooth on this. All right. Nice high arc. He's going to let me know. There we go. The solid booster is burned out. We're passing the apiapsis, which is the highest point. Speed is low enough. Our speed's 120. Look at our staging. Our stage looks good. All right, we're at yellow. So it's going to slow us down a little high. It's going to get down to 1,000 meters because that's what we set it at. Now we sit back and enjoy our descent. Now, actually, I may speed the video up a little bit here because this is going to get boring. But I don't know. We may watch it. Wait, let's watch it. We're going to get it down to 1,000. Make sure it pops out. That's what we set it at. 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. All right. Perfect. Perfect. Exactly how I designed it. Guess I could have used some of the controls here to look around. Take a nice look. Ooh, there's the moon in the back. Oh, there you go. Nice moon in the background. Around. Valentina looks happy down there. Burned all the fuel out. Didn't use much propellant. The charge for steering, that's where you'll see the charge for steering. Oh, have a nice crash down. All right, well done. We have landed on our first flight. I feel like state of accomplishment. All right. Ooh, we rolled over. That's fine. Let's see. Let's see if he said he opened it up. Let's see if we can get old Valentina out for a swim. Oh, there we go. Walking around, swimming. There we go. All right, we're safe. Valentina's happy. Good deal. Thank you all for experiencing this with me. I am the bearded one. Looking forward to getting into KSP and then ultimately KSP2 when everything gets ironed out. As far as the bugs and glitches, they will, I have no doubt. It's got a long way to go. KSP1 was out for 10 plus years. It's an amazing product. Just hope it doesn't take 10 plus years for KSP2 to get to that same spot. I have no doubt that they will. Thank you for joining me. You have a great day.